Okay. Hi, I'll be your guide. I'll be your GUIDE to the other side. Don't go to the netherworld. Did I say netherworld? Oops, never mind. I'm the D to the I to the G to the C. Jesus, I can't spell.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome to a new episode of DianeXMarieX Girls Gone Mild. Now, before we get started, I just want to say, has anyone seen the new Batman trailer? My God, was it so good! I am so excited to see the movie. Uh, it's so dark as it should be, and I just can't wait to see what Robert Pattinson brings to the Bruce Wayne Batman character. It seems like it's such a great cast. I feel like they hit it right in the nail with this Batman. Not saying the other Batman movies were terrible. I do always love Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. But if none of you have seen the trailer yet, I will share it in my description of this video. Um, so go and watch it. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit about my father, about Living Dead, and also I'm going to be talking about my thoughts about Halloween Kills. I just saw the movie this past Sunday night, and I would like to give my thoughts on it. But before we get to those things, I would like to address an issue that I had this past week. Um, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, I did my third episode of my podcast, and that was actually the night I had my first rehearsal of Living Dead. And I know I said in the podcast that my love for theater, my passion for theater, is no longer safe in a way that I just don't have it anymore. I was just expressing my feelings, and it was not directed to anyone in my Living Dead cast, nor the director Robert Joki. Um, and the reason why I bring this up because Robert Joki actually listened to that episode of the podcast, and he admired that I was being completely honest, and he can relate because he's also going through a struggle with other things that's going on in his life. And he's also told me that other people around Youngstown, Ohio, are feeling the same way. Um, and I can appreciate that, and I am so grateful for Robert Joki. That's why I look up to him and look up to Starla O'Hara because if it wasn't for him and if it wasn't for my uncle who also does drag as well, his drag persona is Marina Mack. If it wasn't for those two, I probably wouldn't be able to make Diane Marie today. Diane Marie would probably not exist without those two. Um, anyway, there were some people that had an issue of what I said on the podcast. Um, and there was also the fact that some people didn't like the fact that I share everything on the podcast. And everyone has a right to their opinions, not taking that away from them. But I would just ask for one thing for future references. If you have a problem or a concern of anything I say on the podcast at all, please, 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 if you are friends with me on Facebook, message me privately. If you have my phone number, please text me or call me. Or if you would like to email me, you can email me at martindaniels.actor@gmail.com so we can talk about this privately. That's why I can understand where you're coming from, and I'm an understanding guy. I don't want things to be blown out of proportion, and I just want to hear your concerns, your comments. I don't want it to be put on Facebook or anything like that. People have a right to say what they want to say, but I would much rather talk about it first than put it out in the open. And I'm not blaming Robert Joki for this at all because he was sharing my podcast because it really touched him in the end. Um, but like I said, it had nothing to do with him. My concerns, my feelings, and my passion for theater had nothing to do with him nor the cast of Living Dead. I love my cast of Living Dead. I wanted to trade my last show with them for the world. I made the right decision to do my last theater show as Martin Daniels with them, because I knew if I did one more show after that, I was not going to feel the same after this. I would lose the passion completely, and I would just be wasting my time with somebody else. And I don't want to do that. I am proud to still be doing Living Dead, the musical, this year with them. It's going to be emotional when the show's over, but I'm ready to take that next step because Diane Marie is becoming way more popular than Martin Daniels. And I think in the end, Diane Marie is probably going to take over my theater experience. She's probably going to take it over, go on to better things as she is right now. She might even do Rustfeld Theater Company's How the Drag Queen Stole Christmas. And if any other theaters would like to use her for a show, I'm more open to talking about it, and maybe we can work something out. But once again, if you do have concerns or comments of what I say on my podcast, I would much rather you message me privately. Like I said, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can message me. If you have my phone number, you can text me or call me. Or if you want to email me, you can email me at martindaniels.actor@gmail.com. And I will share my email in the description as well. All right. Now that we gotten that out of the way, we're going to do something different in this episode. We're going to take all the negative vibes, just breathe in and breathe out. And we are going to actually talk something positive. Even though, like, probably Halloween Kills, I'm probably going to have my thoughts about it. Maybe it might be positive, maybe it might be negative. You never know. Living Dead will be mostly positive, and it'll be a funny thing to talk about, anyways. And we will start with this episode about talking about my father. By the way, I hope everyone had a great weekend this past weekend. Unfortunately, I was busy with Living Dead, but I hope this coming weekend is going to be good enough for everybody, and I hope you're enjoying your Wednesday night as well. Okay, so I want to talk about my father for a minute. I cannot believe it's already been 4.5 years since he passed away. That's crazy. I just remember like it was yesterday of getting that phone call from my sister telling me that he passed. I will never forget that night. My emotions for my father's death didn't really hit me until I saw him in that casket. It was crazy. I miss him every day. And I wish he was here right now so I could talk to him. But I want to give a little history about my father. A lot of you did not know this, but my father was actually a disc jockey back in college. He went to a community college called Mount Sac in Chestnut, California. I don't know how long he did the disc jockey. All I know is that he was there for like a good 3 years, maybe. He could have done that radio show for 2 years. I'm not sure. But I remember listening to him on the tapes he recorded, and he sounded pretty good. He was really good at it. In fact, I still have one of his tapes that he had. Unfortunately, I cannot play it because I don't have a tape recorder or a tape player, which is sad. I would like to hear his voice one more time. And I always have a feeling like every time I heard him talk on the radio and everything, mind you, this was before my sister and I were born. And I kind of got the feeling that that's what he wanted to do as a career. I feel like that was something he was very passionate about. You can tell by just the way he talks on the radio. He was very energetic towards it. And he was really good too. Really good. Um, but I guess that he just never really pursued it because, things in his life was going on. Um, and I don't know. I wish I could have asked him more about it, but I never got the chance to. I never got the chance to, and that's one of the things I regret about not getting the chance to ask him about it. Um, but if you want to know something, he is the inspiration of why I started this podcast. Um, because like he never got that chance to do something, with radio and being a disc jockey. In a way, I'm kind of pursuing his dream because I know that's something he would be very proud of. Even though, like, sometimes, I don't know. I just don't know how to explain it. I really don't know how to explain it, but he is definitely the inspiration of this podcast. Mind you, the name of the podcast, I did not get that from my father. I even said in the first episode that the name Girls Gone Mild, I got that from Robert Jokey. And recap on that, Robert Jokey always said the star of Girls Gone Mild every time I performed on stage on open stage night at Club Switch. So I still thank Robert Jokey to this day for giving me that name. And I would thank my father for giving me the inspiration to start this podcast. My father was always a big supporter of everything I did. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be doing the stuff I did. With the acting, and the singing, everything I do, even with the drag, and then with filming, and all the TikTok videos. I think, in a way, it's like I'm being funny, being myself, but I get that humor from my father. Because in the end, we all just got to be happy. We all have to have a good laugh in the end. And I just wish he was here to experience that. Now, granted, I don't know how he would feel about me being a drag queen. But it's the same thing of he didn't know how he felt about me being an actor. But he definitely supported everything I did. And I feel like he would support this as well. So, for my father, this podcast started because of you. And I thank you. And I love you very much. All right. This is actually going to be my first review on a movie that I've ever done before. And I thought this was a good time to do, since it is Halloween season, why not review Halloween Kills? As I said, I did watch it this past Sunday night. I did get some mixed reviews from people before going into this movie. Some people said it was good, some people said it was okay, and some people said it was god awful. My good friend Jacob Nash, who's also in Living Dead with me, told me that you're probably gonna hate the ending. Well, yeah. But before I give my thoughts on this, if you have not seen the movie or you don't want any spoilers ruin for you, which I'm not gonna go like detail to detail of how the movie starts and how the movie ends like that. But if you don't want to hear that, I will give you a chance to lead the podcast right now. Okay. Now that we gotten those people out of the podcast, let me give you some thoughts. Um, Overall, I thought the cast in this movie was great. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis is always a pleasure to see on the screen. Um, Anthony Michael Hall. I haven't seen him on the big screen for a while. I thought he did his role perfect. I thought he was a complete badass in this. Um, and still shows me that he's still a great actor. And he happens to be one of my favorite actors from the 80s. You know, Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, um, 16 Candles, just all the 80s classics. Um, that guy can act. That guy can truly act. And it was great to see him on the screen again. Um, the other thing I liked about the movie is how Michael Myers killed his victims. It was some, it's like it's always been like something different in each film, but I love the blood and gore. But I loved how he killed each victim. It was different and unique. Um, like that's the kind of Michael Myers that we need in future Halloween films, which we know there's probably going to be another movie next year. But that's pretty much all the good things I could say about this film. Uh, the other thing is, I really don't have another good thing to say about this film. I was kind of disappointed with this film, to be honest. Uh, well, first of all, Jamie Lee Curtis, great actress, but I was disappointed that they didn't show more of her in this one. In the last one, she was basically the star of the show. This one, it felt like she took a back seat. Now, granted, I know why they did that in circumstances of the story, but she kept saying throughout the whole film, like, Michael needs to die tonight. I'm going to finish it, and I need to die with him. And it gives you like that feeling, like, oh shit, she is going to die, or she's gonna end Michael tonight, or whatever. But it's just a lack of screen time for her. It just seemed like I understand they probably wanted to give more star power to the characters, more screen time to the characters, and everything like that. And I can understand that, but to me, I felt like if she's basically gonna, try to kill Michael, I just felt like the writers didn't know what to do exactly with her character. Because I felt like in the end, she's gonna have to be the one to do it, which already tells me it's leading to that point that she's gonna have to do something in order to get rid of him for good, and she's gonna have to go with him. Meaning, like, they're gonna have to both die in the end. Um, yeah, that was that. Um, the other thing was that they were right. I mean, Jacob Nash was right. I hated the ending. I didn't think it was a good ending. Um, you would think that the way the film was going, that it was going to be the end of Michael, if you've seen the film. But let it known behold, it's like the fact of the matter is, like, yeah, we forget Michael Myers is an unstoppable monster. Um, I wish they could have made the ending different. Um, and mind you, in this film, Michael and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laura, that was it, Laura. I forgot the character's name, but Laura and Michael, they did not encounter in this film at all, which is sad. I hated that, but I hated the ending too, and I didn't think it was. I don't know, just something about me did not sit right, and I can't really explain it. And you would think that, they even do like the hashtag evil dies tonight, which really didn't, it's a good saying, but how could it happen if no one can kill him? Um, I don't know. There's not really much to say about this film. I was, I was going open minded because I really did love the last Halloween movie. I thought that was really good. But then, like when they make a sequel, it's like, well, they gotta top it. Whenever you make a sequel to a horror film, you gotta top it. Um, I always say that. I even say this. I always think one of the best sequels to a horror film is Scream 2. Now, the Scream franchise is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. Um, but Scream 2 did a lot of stuff that you did not expect. And if you have not seen that movie, you need to go see it. It's a really good film. And like I'm not saying that you should compare Scream 2 with Halloween Kills or the other way around, but Halloween Kills, for me, it was too predictable in a way. Um, I wish that, like I said, I wish, Laura and Michael would actually have an encounter in this one, like they did in the last one, but they didn't. Um, I will say this: they had good character development in this film, but I think it was kind of, in a way, for me, the film was kind of rushed because, like, oh, we gotta continue this because we gotta make another film. I'm, I hate when movies do that, and it felt kind of rushed, but I did like the star power in this film. I did love how the killing, the Michael, how he kills people in different ways was cool, but it was just too predictable, and the ending was just terrible for me. Um, but like I said, if you guys love it, then props to you. If you guys hate it, then you'll know where I'm coming from. But yeah, I really don't have much to say about Halloween Kills. It was just blood and gore. I mean, with the blood and gore, cool, but nowhere as good as the last one. All right, well, enough talking about Halloween Kills. Yeah. Let's talk about this past weekend. Let's talk about the first weekend of Living Dead. The first weekend's in the books. And if you would like to go see the show, we still have 2 more weekends, including a midnight show. The days are the 22nd, the 23rd, the 29th, and the 30th. And they're all at 8 p.m. Our midnight show is on the 30th as well. I will be posting the address in the description as usual. If you would like to make your reservations, the number is on the picture. Oh, wait, I just realized the address is in the picture as well, but it's so small. But I will still post the address in the description still. I believe tickets are $15. It's a great show. If you don't know what Living Dead is, it's a parody of Night of the Living Dead, the original Night of the Living Dead. It's a great film, great horror film. That's the film that basically started the whole zombie franchise throughout the world. Uh, But yeah, it is a parody of Living Dead, so you get to see Johnny, Barbara, Ben, Mr. Cooper, Mrs. Cooper, Tom, Judy, and a bunch of other characters. Um, I think everyone will have a good time with this. It is dirty, but who cares? It's theater. I think Robert Jogi did a great job directing the show. I think the cast does a great job putting the show together. Mind you, we had some few minor hiccups the first 2 days, but who doesn't? It's theater. Anything can happen. Um, but we worked through it, and I think it's a good mess up in a way. I mean, come on, I messed up on both nights when I did my big number. I messed up a lyric on the first night. The next night, I got the lyric right, but then I got another lyric wrong on the second night. Mind you, I'm in drag while I'm singing this number. Uh, and I'm proud of myself because I'm getting better at my makeup every single day, and that's all I could ask for. Practice makes perfect. I always say that to everybody. If you want, if you're trying to sing, if you're trying to dance, tap dance, or even do makeup for future references or anything you want to do as a dream job, practice makes perfect. Do not give up on that. Keep practicing, you'll get better at it, as I did with drag. Um, Poor Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis is a good friend of mine and a good friend of the Rust Belt Theater Company, and he came to see our show on Saturday night. And of course, long and behold, he sat in the front row. And of course, in my number, there's a part where I get to interact with the audience. Shame on him, but shame on me too. I had to interact with him. And of course, me being the drag queen I am, had to get handsy with him. Not like too sexual or anything like that, but just messing with him. And I don't know, he may never feel the same way ever again. I'm laughing at it because like he's probably like, oh shit, why do you have to talk about this right now? Why do you have to talk about this on your podcast? How dare you? But I love him. Um, I always do that with people who I know really well. But like, hey, if I get the opportunity to do that to you, if you're sitting in the front row or on the end of the aisles, I will mess with you. So, so to anyone who knows me, who is going to go see the show, probably not sit in the front row or sit in the aisles at all. So that's why I won't get to you. That's why you won't be embarrassed. But I love interacting with people. That's just how I am as an actor and how I am as a drag queen. But I also have to talk about this with Living Dead with Jacob Nash, who I mentioned earlier. It was funny because like I believe our Tuesday, this last Tuesday, it's our tech week. Last Tuesday, everyone we were running through the show, and I ended up, going half costume with my big number. And there's a part at the end of the song where Jacob Nash is holding my cape, and that just happened. Like I didn't expect him to pick it up, but he was holding my cape, and since he has it at the end, I grabbed it from him, and I also thought like, well, since he has it, I'm gonna mess with him. And the only thing I could think of was kissing him, which I thought was hilarious. But then I realized the makeup I have, the lipstick I wear during the show, it doesn't come off that easy. So now, mind you, I did not do this when we had the actual show because I didn't want I found this out before opening night. But it was funny and hilarious, but it was also funny that the fact that he could not get the lipstick off. And I did not want to do that to him. So we decided to axe the kiss. Um, Now I know, like, probably not a good idea to do that kind of thing because we're still in a pandemic with COVID and everything. But since we're all vaccinated, um, I feel like it was safe to do. But I mean, we decided not to do the kiss anyways. Um, so instead, like, you guys will get it, you guys will see it. But so instead, when I get my cape, we decided to go with me grabbing his ass and yelling out the top of my lungs, "Ah, rocker!" Because I thought it would be funnier. Uh, and it worked. It worked. So at least he's not getting violated with his lips, but he's getting violated with his ass. um, Other than that, like, the show did was pretty good. Everyone did great, and we're only gonna get better. We have 2 more weekends and a midnight show, and then after that, I'm pretty much done with theater as Martin Daniels. Like I said before at the beginning, that I will still. I'm gonna let Diane Marie continue my theater experience. Obviously, with Diane Marie, it's gonna be a whole different story because you know, I can't really. She can't really go to auditions and audition for something. So instead, if theaters would like to book her for something, for a show or anything like that, then you gotta email me or talk to me about it. Uh, and we could book something for future references, for future shows, for everything. Because she's becoming way more popular than Martin Daniels. Um, like I said, who knows? Maybe she will be in How the Drag Queen Stole Christmas with the Rust Belt Theater Company. Jeff Davis and I, we were talking about putting Diane Marie into one of his improv shows in the future. We will make something work. I really hope so, because I think it would be good for Diane Marie, and I think, since she's becoming very popular on TikTok and everywhere on social media, um, it's time to take her center stage and take over. And I think that would be awesome. But I also just want to say this, that I am very proud of this cast. I'm very proud of Robert Joki. I'm very proud to be a part of this show, and I'm glad this is going to be my last one. When it's all said and done, when the show's over, the tears are going to come in. Some sad, some good, because I think I'm ready to move on to the next chapter of my life. 12 years. 12 years I gave my whole life to theater, and I just think it's about time for me to walk away from it and pursue other things, Diane Marie and filming, and also work on this podcast for my father that I mentioned earlier. I always I also want to say this, like, I want to thank Robert Joki for making me feel better after sharing that episode of my podcast on Facebook. I don't understand where I come. I love him very much, and I just, like I said, I look up to him. I wouldn't trade my friendship with him in the world. I also want to thank 2 other people, Brooke Knobs and Jacob Nash. Thank you guys for being great friends and listening to my story and how I feel and what I have to say. I'm very grateful for both of you. You guys are amazing, and I'm proud to be doing my last show with you guys. But I'm also proud to be doing it with everybody in this cast. Um, Living Dead, the musical, became one of my favorite musicals of all time. Even though it's like only well known in Ohio, um, and it's not as big as other musicals out there, it hits me right in the heart. It hits me because like it's one of those musicals that you can enjoy and have fun with. Um, I will always be thinking of the memories of Living Dead because the first two times I did it, I got to play. I got to play Johnny. Then I got to reprise him last year, and then this year was different because it's making that transition of me leaving as an actor and going on to still pursuing becoming a drag queen. Well, I mean, I still am a drag queen, but becoming a drag queen actor or actress, however you want to see it or call it. Um, but yeah, it's definitely something that I'll never regret. And I just want to thank everybody at the Rust Belt Theater Company for just bearing with me, just working with me, and understanding that this is it, that this is the end for my theater career as Martin Daniels. I love you all very much. Uh, like I said, I wouldn't trade anything, any show, for this moment. Now, before we end this episode, we talked about my dad. We talked about Living Dead. Yeah, we even talked about Halloween Kills, which I still think not a great film. um, so before we end it right here, I would like to share an audio clip real quick with you guys because I feel like after everything that's happened for the past couple weeks, I feel like I've become that this could be like a whole Howard Stern situation where a lot of people will love me, a lot of people will hate me for this podcast. And I just thought this was like appropriate and but also funny at the same time. So maybe I'll get this in the future. I don't know. I plan on continuing this podcast for a long time. So go ahead and listen to this clip, and then we will sign off. So we'll see you guys in a sec.
The average radio listener listens for 18 minutes. Mm-hmm. The average Howard Stern fan listens for, are you ready for this? An hour and 20 minutes.
How can that be?
Answer most commonly given, I want to see what he'll say next.
All right, okay, fine. But what about the people who hate Stern?
Good point. The average Stern hater listens for 2.5 hours a day.
Look, but if they hate him, why do they listen?
Most common answer, I want to see what he'll say next.
All right, so that audio clip was from the movie Private Parts. It's with Howard Stern and Paul Giamatti. I cannot believe he was 28 when he made that film. Paul Giamatti. That movie is about Howard Stern's life and how he got into being a disc jockey and everything. If you want to know a fun fact about that film, originally Jeff Goldblum was going to be playing the role of Howard Stern. I would love to see Jeff Goldblum play Howard Stern on his take of how Howard Stern should act and all that stuff. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. I think Howard Stern stepped in and finally said, like, you know what? I want to play me. I want to do my story. I want to tell how my story was. Now, obviously, they had to change some of the stuff because it's not exactly how it happened. But I mean, the movie is rated R and it is dirty, but I still feel like it's a good film. It's still a funny film, in my opinion. But yeah, not saying I'm going to compare myself to Howard Stern, but I just feel like after what happened with everything, I feel like, well, there's always going to be some haters and there's always going to be some lovers. Yeah, well, But I'm keeping it positive, and I'm not gonna let that hurt me in the end. So that's pretty much it. I felt like we ended on a good note, and I felt like this is probably gonna be a better episode than all the other past episodes I've done, because I feel like it was not all talking about how I feel, how negative I feel. I felt like we ended on a good note on this one. Um, so yeah, there you go. So thank you guys for listening in. I think this is probably the longest podcast I did so far. Um, so thank you guys for listening in. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Wednesday night, and come see Living Dead. Come see Living Dead. I beg you. You don't. Well, there's not really much I can do. But if you don't, then you are gonna live to regret it. Because you're not gonna be able to see me do my last performance. Sad. So come on, go see Living Dead. It's a great cast. Love you all. Enjoy the night.